I'm Sarah Archer, Recycling Coordinator for ROSOC, your recycling authority. We're back today again to talk about recycling, of course. And again, I've been getting some calls from friends, texts from friends about, hey, can I recycle this? What about this? And most confusing are the plastics. And so today we're going to focus on plastics and the different things you can recycle and the things you're maybe questioning that really shouldn't end up in your recycling. So let's start with the things that we know you pretty much have got it down. They're the basic recyclables, and these are really what we're after here at in the ROSOC communities. So things like your clear bottles, right? Your water bottles, things that contain liquids. This was a mustard container. All of these types of clear plastic containers are acceptable, and actually we love to have these coming through the facility. You do notice they're clean and dry, and the caps are on. So it is okay to leave your caps on. That's a question we get all the time, caps on or caps off. It is okay to leave your caps on. They are made out of a different type of plastic, but technology has improved and allows the recycler that's going to actually take this material and shred it down to separate those different plastics one from the other. So yes to these, okay. And if you're going by the numbers, these are the number one plastics, okay? So, all right, let's move on to the milk jugs. So yes, milk jugs are definitely acceptable. Milk jugs and the colored plastics, these are all acceptable plastics that we would like to see in your recycling bin. Again, caps can be on. You can smash your milk jugs. It is okay to flatten your jugs. So these can take up a lot of space in your recycling carts and recycling bins and even in our drop-off sites. So it is okay to flatten them. Again, clean them, rinse them out. They don't gotta be spotless, but rinse them out and before you recycle them. If you're looking at the numbers, these are a number 2 plastic. All right. What about our other plastics? So these are interesting plastics that are becoming more and more recyclable and able to be recycled and captured in our facility. Soon we'll be adding some robotics to actually separate these individually from the other plastics using AI technology. So these are the number 5 plastics, and you'll see that they're not clear or just colored. They might come in either one. So your drink cups from your fast food restaurants are typically a number 5, and containers that you might find from your deli are also, your yogurt tubs are going to be a number 5. So you'll just have to check that one out. But these are very good items to put into your recycling bin. Okay, so those are the main types of recyclables that we're after. You'll once in a while find a number 4 plastic. Sometimes those are a lid, or you don't find them too much. And number 3s really aren't used in making food products and containers for that, just because it's a polyvinyl chloride, which is not a healthy type of plastic to put food and health and beauty products into. So that kind of is pretty basic and simple. We're looking for those number 1s and number 2s and number 5s. Anything else we will accept. So just remember that it needs to be acceptable looking at our list. Some of the 6s are the confusing ones. This is where it gets confusing, because the polystyrene foam, or as you might call it, styrofoam, is one plastic we do not accept in our recycling. So be sure to keep that number 6 out. What's an example of a number 6? Sometimes your cups are a number 6. Your solo cups are a number 6, or those types of containers. I don't have an example of a number 6 in here because they're not really that prevalent in the recycling world. All right, well, what are the plastics that people just don't really know? There's more in this tub, unfortunately, that aren't recyclable than the items that we do want and recycle. So probably the biggest problem for us at the recycling facility are the plastic bags, what we call plastic bags or plastic film. And so let's clear up some of the questions around plastic bags and plastic film, because this is where people start wish cycling, or putting things into the bin that they wished could be recycled but aren't sure about. So let's clear up some of those questions for you. All right, so we've got these types of bags. So you've got an apple bag, And you've got the bags that you use to put your produce in at the grocery store. And of course, your regular old shopping bag is also part of the bags that we don't want. This is also a bag that any of these types of bags are not something we want in our recycling facility because they tangle up in our system. They are highly recyclable though. So what do you do with these? You can take these types of items to your retailer. So check with your local retailer. Your favorite grocer probably has a bin to accept these types of plastics. We also call them plastic film. So plastic film is kind of more of a flat plastic, and the Ziploc type bags are definitely a recyclable plastic, again, at your local retail store. So save these up, drop them off, but please don't put them in your recycling bin or your recycling cart or at our drop-off site, because it really causes a lot of problems in our facility where we have lots of equipment and machinery that are turning and spinning, and you can only imagine, just like I've used the example before, when you're vacuuming and you get just the smallest thread off of a rug, it just tangles up and just shuts your vacuum cleaner right down. The same thing happens in our facility. They get tangled up in there. We have to shut down for hours and actually manually have people pulling and cutting those away from all of our equipment. So do us a favor, would you? Put these in your recycling bins at your local grocery store. All right, so let's move on to some other questionable plastics. Here's one. It's bubble wrap. That's that bubble wrap stuff, right? Everybody likes to pop them and get their frustrations out by just popping this stuff. This is also an item that we don't want in the recycling facility for the very same reason. You'll also want to check with your retailer though. This may or may not be something that they want. Always look at their rules and guidelines before putting them in. So this might be just something that could be reused at a local packing store, or it would end up in your trash. All right, what about these things? Are these bags or are they plastic? You know, they're just really hard to figure out. They're kind of like plastic. They seem to be a plastic, but we don't really know. Well, they aren't something we want. So any of these multi-layer or these types of crunchier plastics, what I call a crunchy plastic, are things that really should just go in your trash. There's not a good place right now that these can go to get recycled. So these should all go into your trash. All right. Oh, here's something I got in the mail. Again, it's a bubble wrap mailer. Luckily, a lot of the mailing services, the big online shopping places, are moving towards more of a paper type of a packing envelope. So that's good to see. But still, there are some companies out there shipping you something in a plastic one. These are also trash. So these don't belong in your recycle as well. Here's something that's plastic. Should I put it in the recycle bin or not? I think I got onions in this. The answer, no. It is not a recyclable item. Again, this we would consider something that would get tangled, and it's not something that we collect or that there's actually a market for, which means we don't have a business that wants to buy them to make something new out of. So again, something that would go in your trash. If you're crafty and you like to get online to find neat things to do, I understand you could make some really cool bird feeders with this for suet for the winter time. So maybe that's a project for you and your family. Okay, how about all these plastic utensils? Plastic. So many things are made out of plastic, and so many places give out plastic. So this plasticware, we don't have a place for it either. Again, these would be trash. So reuse them over again till they break. Otherwise, they should go into your waste can. All right, something else that people put into the recycling a lot are things that, again, they're plastic, so they should be recyclable, right? No, this is not something we want. It is not a container that held food or beverages or health and beauty products. It is plastic, but it's not something we want in our recycling stream. Again, it's going to become quickly tangled up in our equipment, and you would just be amazed at how many garden hoses and hoses we do get here at the facility. So again, do us a favor, put this one in your trash or find a clever reuse for it. Same with electronics and things that have a plastic case. Again, There's no number on it, which shouldn't really matter because first of all, it's made up of a lot of different materials. So that is number one. What I look at is like, okay, well, there's plastic, there's metal, there's all kinds of wires. There might even be a battery in that. And so very much so, this is not recyclable. Now, if you wanted to save it and put it aside for an e-waste, electronic waste collection, that's where it belongs. We have just finished up, maybe I shouldn't say that. We have many opportunities for you to bring your electronic waste to an event, so you can just check our website for those events and occasions when you can bring that electronic waste. All right, a couple more trickier ones are things like this toothbrush packaging. Well, there's plastic on it there, but it's paperboard here, so what can I do with this? Well, really, it's trash, because even though you could peel the paper off of it, the paper is probably going to be pretty small and may just fall through our system because it's all conveyor systems out there. But the plastic itself is not something that we're going to accept for recycling. So, just again, to play it safe, if you felt like you wanted to put the paper in there, you could, but the rest just would go in the trash. Tubes, plastic tubes, toothpaste tubes, lotion tubes, those go into the trash. And finally, building plastics. Like this is a piece of vinyl siding. We see a lot of vinyl siding and things that are outdoor type of construction type things, landscaping, edging. Those types of plastics are also plastics that do not belong in our recycling. So do keep that in mind too. There are some areas that you can find that will accept vinyl siding for recycling. So again, check the internet to see if there's a local construction company or builder that would accept those for recycling. But not in our carts, not in our bins, and not in the drop-off sites. Okay. Oh, I found my little robot. We talked about robots coming to our facility pretty soon. Well, our little toy robot, you wouldn't be surprised at how many toys we find that people want to recycle. And yes, again, he is a little plastic guy, but just like our cord and extension here, he's got lots of different types of materials in him. So he's got some metal. He also has some plastic. And we don't take apart the little guy and separate the metal from the plastic, and so he's going to just have to go into the trash. Otherwise, he might find a home somewhere else. But if you can't find a home for him, he's going to have to find a home in the trash can. Okay? All right. So I hope that has helped you today to know a little bit more about what goes into your recycling bin and what doesn't. And if you have any questions about what can or can't go into the recycling bin, we have a great tool on our website called the Redirectory. And in that tool, you just can type in an item and it will pop up with an option for you of how to properly take care of it, either by reusing it or donating it, recycling it, or actually just putting it into your trash. So check that tool out on our website. It's called the Redirectory. Otherwise, you can check our website out and find other information on there, and check us out on Facebook. We always have lots of great tips there, or sign up for our e-newsletter and learn all about the different tips that we have there for recycling as well. We've talked before about the materials that we'd like to see you put into your recycling bin and those that we don't. Today, I'd like to show you what becomes of those good items that you put into the recycling bin. So let's start with a real common item that we see, and that's the water bottle. The water bottle is made out of PET material, and it is a very good material for taking and making into new products. And so what happens to the bottles after they leave the MRF? They are baled into great big square bundles, and they are sent to a recycler. And there actually is a recycler right here in the state of Michigan that takes these bottles and turns them into something that a manufacturer will use. Those bottles are taken and made into pellets or taken into flakes, where then it goes on to the next phase to a manufacturer who might want to use them and turn them into threads. And those threads then are used to make material that have fabric, right? So this stuffed animal, he's made out of the fibers that are made from the recycled bottles. Same with this t-shirt. It's been made out of recycled bottles. Some things that may not be as obvious are things like carpeting as well as the fleece within your winter coats, tennis balls. There's lots of things that are made into new products just because you recycled your plastic bottle. So keep that in mind. This shopping bag is also made from recycled plastic water bottles. So that's pretty neat. Okay, the next item that we like to see in your recycling bin are items like this, like your laundry detergent jugs, your shampoo bottles, your milk jugs. These types of plastics are also similarly taken and sent to a processor where they again are made into pellets. This is how they are sold on the market to the manufacturers, or they could be made into flakes. So the flakes then are the way that they take them and clean all the plastics before they go into pellets. So what can be made from those? Here's an example of a recycled toy that's been made from all of those milk jugs and laundry detergent bottles. Something else that can be made from milk jugs are this type of popular lumber now that is called a plastic lumber. Trex is a brand that you might be familiar with. It's a very carefree way for the people to build things that are not going to take a lot of maintenance afterwards. You'll see park benches made from this, picnic tables, message centers in parks, but also just in everyday homes. By building a deck, you can use the Trex type of material. And then finally, my example that I brought for you today is of the number 5 plastic. So this is a polypropylene plastic. Again, a really highly recyclable plastic that can be made into some new products. You'll find that some drinking cups and plates are made now out of that type of material. Also, the toothbrush base of your toothbrush can be made out of that. And again, can be taken and made into a fiber that can be manufactured into a bag or a piece of clothing. So it's a really great plastic for making into new products. So thanks for watching today. I hope you got some new information about the value of recycling and how it can be made into new products, help support manufacturers across our state and our country who are depending on those materials to come to them so that they can continue their making of our consumer goods.